I always loved how character driven Iron Man 3 is. Tony going through PTSD, having anxiety attacks after the events of the Avengers, just really brings him back to feeling like a human again, being a little bit more grounded, a little bit more relatable as a character. And it's just ironic that he has all the money and the tech in the world to protect everyone but himself from his own problems. And I really love the bond that Tony forms with this kid. They really support each other. And it's cool to see him without his suits. You know, he has to resort back to his intelligence and use what's around him for his tech. I think Shane Black did a great job directing this. The film feels more focused than part 2. The Mandarin twist, I know a lot of people hate it. I never minded it. I was never super invested into the Mandarin character, but I get the hate. I get if you were super into the comics how this could look like a terrible decision, but I actually like it because it shows that the white man behind the scenes who is really pulling the strings needs this image, right, for the people to hate, this terrorist. And I think Tony's entire suit collection in the final act coming to save the day is pretty fun despite the heavy use of CGI. Of course, Killian and his soldiers are kind of forgettable and his motive is kind of generic at the end of the day. They still pose a big enough threat and they do get pretty violent in this film. But one thing I could never look past is how dumb Tony Stark is when he gives out the coordinates to where he lives, to his house. It's like, why? What did you think was going to happen? I get that he was mad, frustrated, and looking for vengeance after Happy got hurt and put in the hospital. But this was just stupid. But I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons in this one. It is a better sequel than part 2. And I think this is a solid conclusion to Tony's personal trilogy.